Hello everybody, my name's Cooper, this is Coop's Covers, and today I'm recording a review of not only my favorite chorus pedal of all time, but what I would argue is the best modulation pedal of all time, and that is the Boss CE2 Waza Edition Chorus. So I got this pedal for my birthday this year. That means I've had it for about 5 months, 5 to 6 months, and I need that time to be able to review a product. I don't want to review anything for you guys that I don't have experience with, that I don't know how to use. So that is why I've waited so long to review this, but it is truly one of my favorite pedals I've had. The second I got it, it was immediately on my board. It hasn't left since. It's replaced my modulations from my flangers to my phasers. I really just use this and maybe some tremolo from my Vox AC15 as my main modulation. It is just, for me, the perfect modulation pedal. So a little history, the CE2 was released by Boss back in 1979. It was Boss's first compact chorus pedal in its compact pedal format. EHX released a small clone, I believe, a little earlier, but I'm not for sure on that. However, this, the CE2, was not Boss's first foray into chorus. It was actually way back in 1975 when they released the Jazz Chorus 120 amps, the JC120 that we're all so familiar with. These have a chorus circuit in it that was eventually put into a pedal in '76, and that is the Boss CE1. So it's the exact same circuit, that is how it works, that is the sound, and that is why it is on so many records. It's not just the CE2 pedal or the CE1 pedal, it is also that Jazz Chorus amp, and that is the amp that we hear on so many famous recordings. It became a studio essential in the 80s and the 90s, and we've heard it on so many things. So some features of the Boss CE2 Waza Edition. In its standard mode, all the way to the right here, if you're looking, that is the CE2 chorus mode. So if you were to just buy an original 80s Boss CE2 pedal, it would just have these two knobs, no switch in the middle, and it would have the rate and depth knobs, and it is that sound. It is a very low mid, kind of punchy in the mix sound with that metallic top end that is so synchronized with Boss chorus. It is what we think of, and that is one of my favorite pedals. The CE2 was brought kind of reinterested into the public music by John Mayer and his release of Sob Rock earlier on, and this skyrocketed the price of CE2s and honestly spurred my own interest for the pedal. Then we go into the next mode in the center. This is the Wazacraft in the name. It becomes a CE1 pedal. Now the CE1 again was that jazz chorus circuit, and it is a little deeper, a little more interesting. It has a higher mid-range focus, I believe, and it has even more of that kind of glassy metallic top end that we associate with Boss chorus. And again, that is what was in the JC120 and the CE1 pedal. And then that also, there was a vibrato mode to that pedal. And if you go to the left, this pedal actually also does that vibrato mode. So you really get 3 sounds in one pedal, which is really cool. And I think it's so great that they've included not just the CE2, which is such an amazing pedal, but also the CE1, which is also an amazing pedal in this pedal. Another thing to note is that the Wazacraft edition of Boss pedals have a different buffer than the standard Boss pedals. In my opinion, this Wazacraft pedal has the best buffer I've ever tried. It beats out my Boss pedals, it beats out my Klon style buffers that I use, it beats out my full tone buffers that I use. So yeah, this is really an amazing buffer. It gets high end without being too ice picky is the best way I can describe it. So yeah, if you're looking for a good buffer, look into the Wazacraft range. Some famous artists to use Boss chorus pedals. John Frusciante of the Red Hot Chili Peppers uses a CE1 as his main chorus pedal. Metallica, for Nothing Else Matters, used that JC120 amp on that famous intro. You can hear just beautiful, lush, deep chorus. You are hearing a Boss CE1 as used in a JC120 amp. The Smiths used JC120s, Johnny Marr, to get those amazing kind of atmospheric sounds. He used JC120s. As mentioned previously, John Mayer was using a vintage CE2 on the Sob Rock album. And then another one that I'd like to mention is I use a Robert Cray signature Stratocaster. Robert Cray on his 80s album Strong Persuader, one of my favorite blues albums of all time, was using a Boss CE2. It is such a cool sound. If you guys have never heard that record, please do yourselves a favor and listen to it. So those are some famous artists that have used Boss chorus pedals. So then would I buy it and would I recommend it? Absolutely. It replaced all of my modulation pedals. It is the pedal I go to and turn on the most. And that's because Boss is the sound of chorus. That chorus sound that we all have in our heads, it's the Boss chorus. Love it or hate it, it's this sound. It is what most other chorus pedals are based on. So if you're looking at spending a lot on a boutique chorus pedal, if it's based on a CE2, it's worth considering whether you'd just be happier with a CE2 or a CE1. And that's the other thing, it gives you both the CE2 and CE1 features. I've used them in different scenarios, and I think that you all will be able to do that too. So you're getting 2 different styles of chorus in the same pedal. And the other thing is, it makes you happy. Listen, we all struggled with those 80s guitar sounds because they're so stereotypical and the production's so sterile. But it's honestly coming into its own, and we're now reliving this era through people like John Mayer and Taylor Swift, making albums that are based in 80s music. So it's time for us to revisit it and get a Boss CE2 chorus pedal. I'm Coops Covers. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.